Hi, Tim here from Subwoofer.tools. Today we're going to talk about amplifier power. How much power do you need and which amplifier do you choose? I don't know. That's a good question. The amplifier you should choose depends on your subwoofer. You are going to be wiring up a circuit of a single subwoofer or multiple subwoofers and presenting that to the amplifier. The amplifier is going to give you watts. The subwoofer is going to present an impedance. The subwoofer can handle watts. You don't want to go too far past it. It's kind of like the Price is Right. You want to get as close to that dollar as possible without going over actual retail price. So let's say you have a single subwoofer. It handles 500 watts and presents a 2 ohm load to the amplifier. That answer is very simple. You're going to want to find an amplifier that makes 500 watts of power into 2 ohms. Now, if you have a subwoofer that has dual voice coils, and that subwoofer handles 500 watts, and those voice coils are 4 ohms each, you'll wire the voice coils in parallel to present a 2 ohm load to the amplifier. Or you can wire them in series for an 8 ohm load, and you can present that to the amplifier as well. We'll get into why you might want to do that here in a little bit. But for right now, let's talk about having 2 speakers. It's the same thing as a dual voice coil. If you have 2 4 ohm subwoofer drivers, you're going to present a 2 ohm load, and you're going to want to have enough power for both speakers. If these are 500 watt each speakers, you'll want a 1000 watt amplifier into 2 ohms. Now let's talk about 4 subwoofers. Now this is where things get a little bit complicated, and let's say we have 4 ohm speakers, and they handle 500 watts each. If we wired all 4 of those 4 ohm speakers in parallel, all 4 of those voice coils wired in parallel, we would have a 2000 watt power handling, and we would present 1 ohm to the amplifier. Our other option is to wire these 4 ohm voice coils in a series parallel arrangement. If we have each of them in a pair wired in series, that gives us an 8 ohm load, and then we would have to wire them together in parallel. The 2 8 ohm circuits wired in parallel will give us 4 ohms, and it's still the same 2000 watt power handling because each woofer handles 500 watts. Now, before I mentioned the dual 4 ohm voice coil system, and if we had 4 of those and we wired each voice coil on each woofer in series to come up with an 8 ohm load, what do you think happens when we have 4 of them wired in parallel together? That's right, we'll have a 2 ohm load to present to the amplifier. We want to get as close as possible to the power handling of the subwoofers without going beyond that. Think of how the Price is Right is played. You want to get as close as possible to that price without going over. If you have questions about whether or not your amplifier choice is going to work with your subwoofer choice, drop it in the comments. Ask, hey guys, I have this subwoofer and I have this amplifier, is that going to work? Or ask in the comments, I've got these subwoofers, I would like to wire them to an amplifier, which one should I pick? All right, thank you. Have a great day.